Now, when we're talking about right effort, it's actually the same whether you're on retreat or whether you're working a busy job, whether you're living in the monastery or whether you're living at home. So right effort doesn't directly have to do with how hard we're trying, how many hours of meditation we're putting in. Right? It specifically is defined as giving rise to wholesome states of mind and bringing them to fruition, to perfection, and keeping unwholesome states of mind at bay. So when unwholesome states arise, then we know them, find a way to let them go, and then find ways to live so that unwholesome states of mind are less likely to arise as a consequence. So that's right effort. And that will change depending on our environment, depending on how intensive our practice is. But the basic structure is always the same. Even if you're busy at work, got a lot on your mind, a lot of things happening, maybe not even a lot of time for meditation, or by the time you get home, you're really tired, and so the quality suffers a bit just because of a full day's work. Still, while you're at work, right? While you're doing everything else, while you're having dinner, while you're showering, everything, right? Okay, what is the state of my mind right now? Right? Can I bring up an even more wholesome state of mind? So then right effort goes hand in hand with mindfulness. I mean, first of all, you can't make right effort consistently without being clearly aware of what's happening in the present. So you have to be clearly aware of what you're thinking, what you're feeling, the mood, perceptions, right? What's going on in your mind. So these are two factors that have to be there for every other factor in the Noble Eightfold Path. Right mindfulness and right effort. So everything we do, you have to be aware. We're aware of the state of mind, the current state of mind, what's happening in the present, and then we can recognize: is this wholesome or is this unwholesome? Right? If it's unwholesome, then we have to find a way to try to let it go, adjust it, change it, or at least be patient, right? So we don't amplify it. If it's wholesome, then sadhu, and you can say, oh, is that a wholesome state of mind? Great, let's see how far we can make it perpetuate, right? Let's try to extend it as far as possible, because eventually it'll wear off, right? But if you make the effort to try to keep it going, right, you feel sincere loving kindness. Say, okay, let's see how long I can keep this going, right? You feel sincere generosity. You say, okay, let's see how if I can amplify this positive, wholesome feeling. Then the definition of wholesome and unwholesome is very important as well. It's not just what we might normally consider good or bad, or positive and negative, right? The Buddha was very specific in how he defined those terms. So the essence of right effort, the essence of the law of karma, is being able to differentiate between wholesome and unwholesome states of mind. So what's the unwholesome? The Buddha clearly defines it. Right? Certainly, anything that arises from the roots of anger or irritation, right? It's unwholesome. Even if it seems justified, right? Even if it gives us energy, even if we're reacting against injustice, feel moral outrage, right? Still, it's an unwholesome state of mind. So it's not going to lead to good results in the future. Anything that arises from what we call raga, essentially greed, Greed is an extreme form of it, but it's the idea that we're going out and we're basing our gratification or wish for happiness on what we see, hear, smell, taste, touch, or even cognize. Gratification of desires, right, for the most part, is based on delusion. Yeah? The idea that our happiness is going to come from fulfilling our desires, right? We just get everything right. If we just get our situation right, if we just get our partner right, if we can just teach our partner to be right, then everything will be fine. Or if we just get the right job, the right amount of money, just get everything right, then we'll be happy. Right? It seems so believable, and but that always places happiness somewhere in the future. Right? It's always just a little bit in the future. On the horizon, just over the rainbow. So it's good to catch ourselves and recognize that, oh, I'm thinking in that way again. Right, this is part of the definition of unwholesome state of mind. Right? It doesn't have to be grossly unwholesome. All right? Now, the most subtle forms of unwholesome states of mind are based around delusion. Essentially, reinforcing the delusion that I exist separately. I am better, or I am worse, or I am equal to. This is all, again, delusion that we perpetuate all the time. Now this is that's when right effort starts to become more refined. Right? Even recognizing that sitting here, say, I am speaking, or you are listening. Right? Even that much of a thought, that much of a perception, a way of perceiving what's going on, is already reinforcing this self-view that we are separate beings, right? That is somehow separate. We keep reinforcing that sense of self. So when right effort becomes very subtle and continuous, then every time the sense of self comes up, we recognize, there it is again, right? And overcome that. Just replace it with, you don't have to replace it with necessarily a radical alternative, but even just replacing it with a state of clear awareness is already very wholesome. Thought comes up, say, it's just a thought. We're mindful of it, we're aware of it, it disappears, and then the mind, at least for a few moments, it's quiet, it's peaceful. Right, so that's right effort. So while you're busy, if you're leading a busy life, you can't expect that you're going to be able to develop deep states of samadhi. That's realistic. If you set the bar too high, then it just leads to disappointment. But we can all do something. There's no day that we can't learn something or develop something positive or wholesome. Loving kindness, right? You're working with other people, so you just try to say, everyone you meet, friends, strangers, people you don't like, say, inside you're thinking, I hope you're well, hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well. Or just being sensitive to tune into how other people are doing. Everyone sometimes gets in bad moods or has difficult things happen to them, so then tune in, become more sensitive, opens our heart more, we become more compassionate. These things that we can practice every day, all day. Even if you're tired, even if you don't have a lot of energy, even if you're very busy rushing around here and there, you can still practice like that. Keep your mind in a wholesome state. It's definitely right effort and very good karma. We talk about good and bad karma, but really the terms are kusala and akusala, wholesome karma and unwholesome karma. Otherwise, the definitions of good and bad can vary so much from person to person. or from societies to society. But wholesome and unwholesome, the way the Buddha describes it, is very clear definition. So that's the essence of right effort. And then just do it as much as possible.